Smash Acquaintances!
Hey buddies, and welcome back to Super Smash Acquaintances, where we try to prove interview by interview that everybody loves video games. I'm your host today, Austin Learned, and I'm here with one of my best friends, Adam Hanson. Now, let's set the ground rules.
Today's guest chose BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma Extend versus mode. No limits. Let's go!
You're pretty dandy, huh?
Who's your favorite Smash Brothers character?
I would have to say my original favorite was always Captain Falcon, but I switched over to probably Toon Link now. I didn't like playing as Link because he always seemed kind of cheap, but Toon Link's a little more balanced for me, works very well for me. But he's a very dynamic character that just is all around works well for me. I find that I actually do pretty well with him, even against people who seem to play a lot more than me, because I haven't owned a Nintendo system in God knows how long. So I mostly just play at my friends' houses, and so they always play a lot more than me, so they know how to roll, which I never got into rolling. But I can still hold up, and I can actually win a few matches as Toon Link. And I like playing Adman. I like playing against him because he always picks Link, and I can still beat him half the time, even though Link is probably a stronger character all around. I always hope that when I win, I get the ending where he has the pig on his head, because that just always makes me happy.
You kind of like the more maneuverable, agile characters for that particular kind of game?
Yeah, in a lot of games I play, I'm a very straightforward, very much of a brawler type of person, so I need somebody who can maneuver and be in the middle of the fray and still have options. A lot of the other characters, I just feel that once I'm in the melee, I don't have a whole lot of choices on what I can do. I have to kind of plan my ins and outs. I like being able to get out and get in, but I'm very direct, so I need somebody who's maneuverable, somebody who has options.
What's your favorite type of game?
JRPGs all the way. RPGs in general I do like. I would say my first love is probably still JRPGs. Most of my favorite games, I have a collection of old PlayStation and PS2 JRPGs that I just absolutely loved. It was my brother who introduced me to him. I spent a lot of time watching him play games, and that's what he was always playing, Final Fantasy, a lot of Squaresoft games, things like that. And I really got into him. Because I'm very much more into this. I love a really good story to a game. The gameplay is important, but if it doesn't have a compelling story, it's really hard for me to get into and hard for me to keep going along with it. That's why I have a lot of trouble with like shooters. I don't get into so much. It's just I need to feel like there's a reason why I'm doing this. It's not like I'm just mash the button. I need to feel compelled.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because with the JRPGs, the combat system tends to be pretty simple, but that kind of allows them to focus more on the story and be a little bit more compelling with that, right?
Right, and also with a lot of them, depending on the game, if you get into more of the true turn-based combat, you can think very tactically, which I like. I'm very tactically minded. I like to think of things. I like being able to make options, not where I'm, like before I was saying, like with Super Smash Brothers, I'm very tactical in the way I play. I like to move in and out and things like that, and I like to think things through. I'm very quick on my feet, so even on the turn, on the first, the more action oriented, the more what's the word I'm thinking of? Real-time combat. Even with the more real-time combat, I can do very well. I can pick up real quick, and I can think of. But that's the big thing, is where you being able to come up with a strategy, because a lot of times, especially when you get to the bosses, you can't just sit there and just mash the button. You have to, I have to heal now. I have to do this. I have to plan out what my strategies are. Otherwise I'll lose. And then you have to start the fight all over again. And oftentimes the save point, depending on the game, the save point's not always right where you want it to be.
What games are you playing right now?
I just picked up again Star Ocean: The Last Hope for the PS3. I've loved Star Ocean since the second story back on PlayStation 1, and it's about outer space RPG storyline, and about trying to save the world and things like that. It's a JRPG, but it's real-time combat, and it's real. And you got a lot of really interesting characters, and it's a very interesting story, and it's got some great emotions to it. I'm also playing J All-Stars versus Plus Victory, I think is what is the full title.
It's quite a name.
Yeah, and it's all your favorite anime characters. Kind of a brawling style of combat. It's just a lot of fun just to play with your favorite characters I've known for years. Who doesn't want to play as Goku sometime? But I'm playing that on and off, and I'm also playing BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma Extend. It's a one-on-one fighter, more of a Twitch fighter. It's something I've played a lot with my friends in the past, and I really enjoyed it, and I love the competition to it, and it works really well for me. I love the variety of characters, the variety of fighting styles. Everybody plays so differently that it's really unique experience. And then, of course, I always have at least one, what we always call them Kill the Red Guy games. Dynasty Warriors 8 is what I'm playing right now. It's for some reason I've played like Samurai Warriors and the Sengoku and a lot of the other Masaos, but Dynasty Warriors is always my first love. I always come back to Dynasty Warriors for some reason. It always feels right. The way that you wade into battles, and the way that the characters move and attack has always felt so much more natural to me. Samurai Warriors just I played the latest one on Samurai 4, and it doesn't have the same feel to it. It's for whatever reason, Dynasty Warriors will always be my first love in that genre, and I do love the story to that because I love the romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's just so much interesting things going on, and betrayals and tactics, and it's a fun time.
Definitely a more fun history-inspired game than any of the Call of Duties, right?
Oh yeah.
What's a good gaming memory from growing up?
I don't have a whole lot of specific memories. My memory's kind of shoddy at best. The main memory I always had, one of my earliest gaming memories was watching my brother play Xenogears when I was a kid. I sat there for hours. I watched him play the entire game, and then after I watched him, and after he beat it and he let me play it finally, I went through and I beat it myself. And I had already seen the entire game, but I was so into it that I felt that I had to play it myself, that it was something that I had to get into. It's a Squaresoft game, and the story on it is just absolutely insanely deep and in depth. The combat system is just very simple, but it works very naturally, and and plus also giant fighting robots. I mean, how can you argue with that?
Never go wrong with giant fighting robots.
The big thing is my friendships have really evolved around gaming. All my friends are gamers. Has been that way for a very long time. And I remember we were kind of rivals for a long time. My friend Ryan, we would play RPGs, and we would compete to see who could beat the game the fastest, and we would compare stories, and he was one of those people that like had to break every game, and I always it was always funny listening to his stories, because one of the games I remember that he Legend of Legaia he beat like 17 times, and it was just like absolutely ridiculous. Like he got like the ultimate attack like 5 out like halfway through the game, and it's like just completely broke it. And I loved hearing those stories. I never was one of those people who dwelled too much on one game. I was never a completionist. I was one of those people where I beat the game and then I move on to the next one. That's just kind of how I am. And it's always nice having friends that understood that I could talk to about the game that I was playing, and who understood why I was into them. Even if they didn't play this game I was playing, they still kind of got where I was coming from with it. And I got into fighting games partially because I love the competition, and I loved playing a lot of. I never got really into online playing. I liked playing with people in the same room as me, and I know as time has gone on, that's become much more not necessarily obsolete, but just been phased out. But there's just nothing like just really getting into it with your buddy sitting right next to you, and you're laughing and yelling at each other and taunting, and that's something I've always gotten into. It's just, it doesn't have the same feel to me when I'm playing with somebody online, even if I have the voice chat and all that. It just doesn't have that same camaraderie to it.
What's your favorite game?
I would have to say it's a toss-up. I'm probably gonna go with Xenogears.
Done so soon, brother?
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Again, I'm Austin Learned, and you can find me on Twitter at alearnedman00.
And I'm Adam Hanson. You can find me on PlayStation Network at demitriflamegg. If you want to challenge me in the game you just saw, the Wheel of Fate are turning!
Like and subscribe!